Political parties UDM and FF Plus will this week launch their election manifestos. South African political parties will battle to attract voters in national and provincial elections on the 29th of May, when the public elect the political party that will lead the country in the 7th administration. Political analyst Magic Ngwashu joins us now for a preview. Magic, good afternoon and thank you very much for your time.
Good afternoon, Fundo, and to the viewers.
No, it's a pleasure to have you with us. So it's the turn of the UDM to outline their priorities should they be given a mandate by the electorate to form government. But before we get to the priorities that they should focus on, I want us to talk about the identity of the party today. More than anything, some have said it's known for exposing a lot of criminal conduct within government and state-owned entities. Just talk us through their identity today, post its founding in 1997 by the charismatic Holomisa.
Indeed, they did well from when they were formed. We will recall that they have been pro-good governance and they have been anti-corruption. And most of the things we have seen the results in the Zondo Commission. So they have done well since their formation. But in terms of the performance since they were formed, from 14 seats in parliament to 2 seats now, I think they haven't done well in that regard.
Where's the disconnect with the electorate? Because Bantu Holomisa himself, as a seasoned politician, seems to be regarded by other leaders in parliament. We've seen their exchanges. And at some point, Julius Malema's own journey was likened to that of Bantu Holomisa, having also been expelled from the African National Congress. So why exactly does UDM struggle to attract the level of voter support that perhaps the EFF enjoys?
By his own admission, Mr. Holomisa has indicated that the issue, when there was floor crossing, it has affected them badly. They have become more of a regional party, more of a rural party. They are more doing well in some areas of the Eastern Cape, particularly where Mr. Holomisa was a leader during the time of the TBVC state. So lately, they haven't really made any inroads in the other provinces as they have been expected to do.
So what should they prioritize if they are to change their electoral fortunes and transition from being what you say is now a regional party and become a more national party?
Fortunately, this time, since we are more looking at having coalitions, it might help the UDM when working with the multi-parties or forming coalitions. Of course, they are indicating that they can only look at that aspect after when the elections are done. They cannot talk about it before the elections are done. But it will help them if they actually become part of the coalitions, because alone, as they don't have funding to actually cross around the country, they might not be able to appeal to the voting masses.
Not to be naive, but it's not just about money, especially with platforms such as social media, which have helped a number of political parties and other movements. So it seems you're already writing them off, whereas most parties are saying they want an outright majority, including the UDM. But you're saying they perhaps need to focus their strengths on coalitions.
Indeed, I won't even be surprised if they are overtaken by MK, for instance. I mean, MK was registered in September last year, and if you look at UDM, they are 26 years now. It's very much possible that they might even be outdone by a party like MK.
Again, I ask you then, where is the disconnect? Because if you now make an example of MK, some analysts have stated that, again, it's another party where the leader is really the central figure who pulls the party together. if that's the same thing with Bantu Holomisa, that it's the leader, he's a respected and regarded leader, and you've stated that he stands for clean governance, he's exposed a lot of criminal conduct. So where is the disconnect? Why does this love does not translate into electoral support?
I think the leader is more relaxed. If they've got a seat or two, they seem satisfied with that, because I have hardly heard them maybe going to other provinces. Like MK, you will see them in Mpumalanga, they are in Gauteng, they are in KwaZulu-Natal, which is their strong base. But the Holomisa's party, UDM, they are more in the Eastern Cape, and so they are holding some events in Gauteng, but generally they need to work hard. As we have indicated, social media can play a major role as well, especially now with the IEC coming up with some measures of actually controlling that it should work in the positive than negative during these elections.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we had to look at what South Africans have to contend with right now, be it your load shedding, infrastructure problems, what would UDM need to prioritize come Saturday?
They have indicated the issue of load shedding is one of the issues that they need to focus on. But the main one which they have indicated is to address the issue of crime and also the issue of employment, which they have seen as the main issues that can advance our economy, which we know that we are currently struggling at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Now, most parties tend to make a song and dance of high-profile individuals joining their party. The UDM recently unveiled its own latest member, Mthunzi Mdwaba, who has been ordered to pay 1 million in damages to the finance minister. I know that he's expressed dissatisfaction at the court process, but is he a beneficial addition for UDM at this point?
I think he's got an international experience. We will recall that he worked for the International Labour Organization, ILO. His experience will come handy for the UDM to actually build their manifesto around reducing the unemployment rate, as well as coming up with measures that can actually increase our economic prospects. So I think that he will come handy because it's someone who comes from the business sector. So his experience will actually come in handy together with the new recruits that the UDM are having.
All right. So he'd be more of an addition in the sense of an administrative resource that is brought in to strengthen them, not necessarily for lobbying or just being on the ground to do the groundwork.
Indeed, he will be key to mobilizing for the votes, because I think the time intervention in which he joined at the present moment, they will utilize his experience to campaign for votes. We might be seeing him moving around, knowing that obviously he left the party he used to be on, being dissatisfied, as we have indicated, with the court cases that are still are still continuing actually.
Mr. Ngwashu, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That's political analyst Magic Ngwashu.